Alrighty, folks, welcome, one and all, to the cold sheet, the frigid air that is the Saranac Lake Civic Center Arena in Saranac Lake, New York, as we get set to open up the Cam Moody Division gold medal game, as we have Potsdam and Middlebury. Potsdam skating in the blue sweaters with the white trim. Middlebury, the Tigers, in the black sweaters with the orange and white trim. Middlebury coming in as the number 1 seed in the division. Potsdam, the number 2. This is 1 and 2 playing for gold in the Cam Moody division, the white division, as we have known throughout the weekend. And what a day it has been. We've already put to rest 2 bronze medal games. And we start off the first in a double shot of gold medal games. Folks, the temperature outside, ooh, it's frightful. -2 on the Fahrenheit scale. Inside, just a little bit warmer as we're getting some of the heat emanating from the ice surface and the skaters out there that are burning up some calories, all in an effort to heat the fans alongside the sheet. My name is Glenn Burnett with the play-by-play and color commentary. So good to be here. So glad you'd have me here alongside the steady hands of smooth operator. That's Robin behind the camera. As the band has gotten back together, you're enjoying Game Capsule TV's presentation of the Ultimate Chill Tournament weekend as we get to the culmination of the weekend. This one skips the line, and that'll be offsides. Well, now that we've gotten our introductions out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the Potsdam Hailstorm. They are Cole, check that, Burkham, Gable, Green, Jones, Kaiser, Kilgore, Maxwell, Munn, Murray, Pignoni, Planty, Wallace, Warren, Weems, and Whalen. Keep an eye out for Weems out there. You might lose him in the mix due to the size, but Weems will find himself into very many critical plays. We'll take a look down at the end, and we see Wallace in the net once again for Potsdam. And now let's go and introduce you to the number 1 seed in the division, Middlebury Tigers. They are Daly, Jack and Joe Hendy, Cron, Cannell, Hill, Leonard, Bourgeois, Price, Poppy, and Bergeron. We expect that we'll see Poppy in the net for the Tigers, as it appears they only travel with 1 goaltender, as this is drawn back by Cron. Cron here emerged as one of the better skaters on this Tigers team, and not to take any sides with any individual players, as they all have their particular skill sets that help to identify them out on the ice. And this right here is Cron working up on the left wing side. Tries to feed it up ahead to Price, trying to avoid the offsides, as Price was leaning over that blue stripe. And this is played out of the top of the slot. And these 2 teams arrived here by virtue of making it to the top of the division, the top 2 in the division, as the Tigers went 3-0 in round-robin play and took a victory in the semifinal last night. Here's Cron with a pass out towards the right wing side. A little evasive stick handling as this is played off of the post on the outside of the post. Early first period action. And we take a look at performances through the course of the weekend, as this is played along the near side at neutral ice. Played out to Hendy, and Hendy tripping over the ice monster. Now an opportunity for Potsdam, looking for the icebreakers. That shot wide of the net. Played around to the near side from the half wall. Out to neutral ice. And here's Bergeron. Bergeron, he's up into the offensive zone. Bergeron squares up with a shot, gets it out towards the backdoor side. That one is sent wide of the net. And this will go up and out of play. So we take a look at performance here for each of these teams as Middlebury took a 7-1 victory in their first game against Tupper Lake, and then took a 7-3 win over this Potsdam team. Potsdam trying to avenge that loss. As they continued on through their competitions, Potsdam took a 7-0 win over Tupper Lake. And Middlebury downed Sarah Placid 8-3. And then Potsdam won the first of two semifinals, and now Middlebury striking first with the icebreaker. And it looks like that's Hill. I'll double check that, but I believe that was number 16, Hill, with the icebreaker. Just 4 minutes and 5 seconds into this first period, as some of the Middlebury parents here trying to keep things settled out on the ice as this is played towards the side of the cage. Played out through the slot. Into the middle as the Tigers trying to force it down to the cage. Played up to Cron as Cron will work it down to the half wall. Trying to feed it into the middle. And we got a penalty upcoming. We got a delayed call as we should see Poppy coming out of the net to get the extra attacker out on the ice. And we got a hooking call. So Potsdam will send one to the box for a minute. As we see Maxwell will sit for 60 seconds. And now the Hailstorm will try to fend off that penalty. As they set up to Wallace's left side. Hill set up in the middle of the slot. Potsdam's going to need to get some protection there. These are some of the things that players will learn even on their own, that you don't necessarily need coaching to recognize that if the danger is occurring in the middle of the slot, somebody should be near that danger and make sure it doesn't occur anymore. And this is played all the way down. As we see Planty out on the ice up at the blue line. Planty is the one who started off this play. And now racing up is Hill. And Hill holding on to a stick. We're going to see what the call is here. And I see this as a good argument here, as it appeared that Hill had held on to the stick. And we end up with coincidental minors. And so we'll continue 5-on-4 as the Tigers will have, we'll double check this here, as we're seeing 4-on-4, and I believe we should have 5-on-4 as we had coincidental minors. And so the Tigers will send one more out onto the ice. And so it looks like Jones and Hill will go, and I believe part of that play was Hill holding the stick. You know, if you want to sell a hooking call, you try to hold that stick in the crook of the arm. And then that will help sell a hooking call. Now, of course, hard to imagine that that's something that you'd be seeing taken advantage of at the 10U age class, but don't underestimate the ability for kids out there to learn how to get an advantage, as this is played right up through the middle. Potsdam coming back to even strength as we see Maxwell exit the box as we hit the midpoint of this first period. A little poke check as the defense comes back down. And we see Gable getting in the mix. Gable helping to shut down the attack. And now Potsdam with a 3-on-1 here. Sent into the middle to the backhand and trying to get it to the 5-hole. Poppy comes up big. So a big play there as Potsdam got to full strength. Down to 5.5 left in this first period in this Cam Moody Division gold medal game. And here's an opportunity just by good fortune playing the puck as the Tigers skater upended. This is played out to neutral ice, and the speedy Leonard picks it up. Leonard tosses it out towards the weak side right wing, and there's that ice monster again, as we've seen a couple of trips out on the ice. And not your typical slipping off the side of your edge, but more so like stubbing your toe. For those of you familiar in football, they call it the turf monster. Well, there's no turf here, as this is played up on the left side by Bourgeois. Bourgeois from the left wing side, followed by Planty, goes to the backhand, and Wallace comes up big on the save. This is played out across the top of the slot. Leonard throws it out towards the weak side, and this one is corralled into the basket, and the Tigers pick up a second. With heavy pressure down in the low slot. So we saw Bourgeois down low. And with 4:26 remaining, first period action, Middlebury out to a 2-0 lead. We'll see how things shake out here, given that we've seen Potsdam get into the offensive zone with some strong scoring opportunities. As they come up with possession here, played into the middle of the slot. And one of the things you've got to be careful of, as possession is traded a couple of times here at neutral ice, you've got to be careful not to overcommit your position. You don't want to get yourself into a situation where you're playing fast and loose and less defensively. It really kind of sort of depends on the character of each team, as this is played from the left circle. The point being here that we got a penalty upcoming here. The idea here being that you don't want to overcommit yourself or overplay on the attack to the extent that you find yourself unable to retreat into defensive position. But that's a conservative defensive approach. Is to try to limit how far in you get on the attack. With a team like the Tigers, with good skaters out there, good puck handlers, if you find yourself overcommitted, they will take advantage and advance up the ice. And if they get a 2-on-1, or if they get one to split the D and go 1-on-1 with Wallace, that'll be a big challenge. We've spoken about this 10U age class, and some of the bigger skaters, when they start off skating strong right from the get-go, There's an indication that shooting, passing, receiving passes, and just generally tossing that puck around the ice, stick handling, all is that much better. Here's a shot wide of the net. Just 7 seconds remaining in the Potsdam tripping call as this is played up to Leonard. Leonard fires one down. And one of the things that this Tigers team has been doing in the offensive zone is they have been regularly positioning somebody on the backdoor side, weak side, down by the side of the crease. This way, anyone up top who wants to throw a shot down towards the net, as this is raced up on the right side, can send it towards the weak side. Here's a save and a rebound out in front. Now this is worked through the middle. And this here is Price out on the right side. And now worked out to neutral ice. Trying to bust through pressure. And this is played deeply through the Tiger zone and now worked out through traffic with help heading straight towards the backdoor side. Played out in front, shot and a goal. As this one sent in by Price down in the low slot. And the Tigers applying greater pressure here late first period. Up 3-0 with 68 seconds remaining in the first. And that will be a high sticking infraction as Bourgeois, the first to touch it after the official signaled the high stick. And so we have a face-off in the Tiger zone. Played down through the slot. Potsdam could do well to add one to the board during this period. Looking to stem the flow as Cron sends one out across the low slot. Again, Cron is a speedy skater. And that gains a great deal of advantage. Not just the fact that she is a speedy skater, but we mentioned that as the feet go, so too goes the handling, the passing, and the shooting. When you don't have to think about your feet, you don't have to worry about whether you're going to slip or anything like that. When you have confident skating, this is why you see an emphasis in active feet throughout youth hockey. Played to the top of the slot. 22 seconds left. And now racing up on the right wing side. Down into the corner. And now the Tigers working across neutral ice. Played into the middle. And that'll close out one period of play. Strong action here for the Middlebury team as they put 3 up on the board. We had a couple of penalties in that first period. We'll take a quick break. We've got to open up the hip flexors, I think. When we come back, we'll have baking tips with Martha from alongside the cold sheet, the frigid air, and the Saranac Lake Civic Center Arena. You're watching gold medal game, ultimate chill in the Cam Moody division. Tigers and Hailstorm on Game Capsule TV. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks, as we open up second period action. The team in black and orange, the Tigers of Middlebury, out to a 3-0 lead. As we open up second period action with a tip of the cap to retired NHL commentator Doc Emmerich, we say welcome to the second period, the period of the log change, as the goaltenders trade nets, putting them and the defensive zones they guard on the opposite end of the ice from their benches. This makes defensive on-the-fly substitutions difficult, so the key takeaway in this period is get out of the defensive zone, into the offensive zone early and often, apply pressure to the opposing defense, see if you can fatigue them, find them flat-footed, out of position, perhaps pulling penalties. Most of all, you want to get shots on net and pucks in the bucket. As we open up this second period, Potsdam looking to do just that, as they need to cut down the deficit, trailing 3-0. We've seen some strong skating out here by Potsdam. We've got a delayed call, and that's going to be a tripping. And Potsdam's been having some difficulties here, as they've been going after the puck, but they've been going with great force and sweeping legs out while they do it. Hard to coach against it, except to say don't take the feet out. But please do go for the puck. This is played out to the far side half wall as Kron chases it down. One of the difficulties here in this period, if you find yourself trailing, you really have to do everything that you can to stay out of the defensive zone. It becomes a backbreaker of a period, and you can play that to your advantage. If you can find yourself standing up the offensive zone against an opponent that is leading the way that the Tigers are, you can get yourself some good fortune. As this goes down for icing. As this is played by Hill at the top of the slot. That'll slip across the line as Hendy could not corral it in time. That'll be offsides. Hendy's still a little bit confused about the whistle. That had jumped on the other side. I think in youth hockey, it will be icing. Even if you are skating shorthanded, it'll be icing. I mean, I get it. I get it. It's a good point. It is a good point. I don't make the rules. I only just call what I see, as this is tossed in by Hill out on the left wing side, and the Tigers gaining more good fortune just as they were going back to full strength. As a couple of the Potsdam dads have been wondering why do we need icing when there's a penalty kill, and I can appreciate that. I think it is all fair enough for the puck to be able to be thrown out of your zone when you're shorthanded all the way down the ice and not have it be called as icing. I don't draw up the rules. I'm not on any committee to vote them in or out on what those rules would be. I just know that all across youth hockey you'll see, if you are shorthanded and you send it out of your defensive zone all the way down the ice, it will be whistled as icing. As this is Kron, evasive skating in the off-wing position from the left side, loses the handle out to the near side corner. As this is played back up towards Kron, as Kron sends it down. And this is played up to Kron, and Kron pinching down into the face-off circle. Here's an opportunity for Potsdam to take advantage. Working against Kron. We saw Whalen get into the neutral zone. And we have a skater down. Able to get out towards the bench area as we take a knee while the trainer checks on the Potsdam player. As we always say, best of health and well-being to one and all. Hopes that the player encountering nothing more than perhaps a little bit of the initial impact. Maybe we will see them return to play. We'll see this very often. The initial crash is painful, and sometimes that pain radiates out and subsides as this is played in from the left wing side. As we see Munn chasing from behind as this is played over to Price. A nice little stick lift by Pignoni. Able to stall the exit. And Price trying to reach for it and pull it into the offensive zone. As we see Cron enter in on the left side. Centering pass out into the middle. As we see Bourgeois down in the low slot. Cron holds it on the line. Played off the side wall. Out to the top of the slot. And that'll be forced out to neutral ice. And now a foot race. As we see Murray looking to gain possession. And a tough break there for Planty as he didn't realize that teammates did not tag up just yet. Down to 7:49 remaining second period action. You see Green out on the left wing side. Warren in the middle. Here's Green. Works it up from the half wall. Sends it down towards the end wall. Little tap on the far side. As we saw Warren calling for it. This will be played up towards the point. And now looking to send a leaking player out on the left wing side as this is shot wide of the net. And this is something very hard to defend when you get a team that feels confident enough with 4 in the defensive zone that they start leaking one out for the stretch outlet pass, which means you've got to commit resources into the neutral zone while you're in on the attack. And it's no fun being limited to 4 attackers in the offensive zone just because you have to have somebody deep over the middle. And that's very difficult defense to fully support anyway. As we know, on the backside, when you're trying to avoid having teams go over the top on you, usually the more that you have drop back, the better. As this is chased down by Hill on a near side half wall. I can tell you, you have to have a very solid defensive core to run, for example, the equivalent of a single safety over the top. That is very risky. You've got to have a really solid safety over the top to call for that. And then everybody else has got to be equally solid. As we see a change in net. We'll have to double check this as that's 35 heading into the net.
Fellas, help me out. 35 is who? Is that Burkham? 35. Number 35. Is that Burkham? Who just went in net?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Didn't see a number on the roster sheet. Okay, thank you.
All right, so it is Burkham who comes fresh out at the midpoint as Potsdam exercises a 2-goaltender system. And so we hit that midsection, the stoppage of play, right about the midsection of the second period, and Potsdam makes the change in net as Cron works through traffic, but it looks like an offsides here. And so we'll set up with a neutral zone face-off on the far side dot, just outside the Potsdam zone. I'm kind of surprised to see the officials out here with no gloves on. As this is played up on the right wing side, shot, and Poppy, a little bit of a windmill play as that goes wide of the net. Here's Planty. Planty firing it deep in the zone. This will be played from the left wing side out to the back door, and a close call out there as Potsdam stirring up some action in the attacking zone. As we see more pressure applied by Kaiser. And if you can only just slow down Cron, get her a little bit off schedule, you might be able to force the turnover. But as it stands, once Cron gets up to top speed, with the good handling, makes it very difficult to just try to come in and reach on the poke check. As this is played into the mid slot, down to the side doorstep, played around the corner. And here's a shot just wide of the net as Potsdam, with a flurry of opportunities in this last couple of minutes, as this is played up by Daly. Daly has help on the left side as that's forced out to the corner. Played out in front, and Burkham will come up with a stop. And so we set up to Burkham's right side. 4:23 remaining in this second period. Again, this is a period that has a tendency to break some backs. And now played back into the Tiger zone with a little bit of support coming. This is forced by Munn. Munn trying to dump it deeply into the offensive zone. As we have Gable sends it up ahead. Meanwhile, Pignoni trying to turn one over. And now this is Murray from the right side, tossing it towards the net as that's kicked away by Poppy. Played to the half wall. Now played away from Hill. As Gable sends it around the rim. Played up along the right side as Munn trying to carry it into the offensive zone. This is played to the near side wall. Played back out to neutral ice. Again, we see Mignoni out there. Check that. As this is Hill to the back of the net. We saw him back at neutral ice. Pignoni was trying to turn it back around, as we've seen a lot of opportunities for Potsdam getting into the attacking zone. And they have set some of those shots just off to the side doorstep, where it would be helpful to have someone on the back door. As this is played by Bergeron, deflected out to the far side corner. 2.5 to go, second period action. Played to the backhand. And Burkham goes low, But Bourgeois goes high. And we're going to see a change in net once again for Potsdam. And we'll stand by for a moment here. Okay, thought Potsdam might have been calling a timeout, which is not unusual. Sometimes teams get into a certain position where they're under heavy pressure. The coach wants to stem the momentum and at the very least kind of reset the mind on each of the players. Let them know, hey, this is our situation. This is what we're dealing with. This is how we're going to approach it. Win, lose, or draw. And this one on the side doorstep, pinched down, whistle dead. Some body language from some of the Hailstorm players looking as if that crossed the line. And the officials conferring over this play. And it is signaled a goal, and Potsdam will have that one recognized as a goal on the board. You can tell from the body language of the players down on the ice that they had a feeling that had crossed the line. We'd have to take a look at the game sheet to see exactly who gets credit for it. With 2 minutes remaining in the second period, Potsdam puts one up on the boards. As we see Weems out on the ice for Potsdam.
Got a frog in my throat. I didn't know that frogs could survive this kind of climate.
The ice frog. As this is played by Kaiser. We'll bring that back out to the neutral zone once again. Played into neutral ice. Out along the left wing side. As this is Whalen chasing down Cron. And a little double team action as Weems helps out. That gets turned away. And now Price working into the offensive zone. Anticipating the poke check as the puck is fumbled out into the slot area. And now here's an opportunity. And this will be sent down to the end wall. They had a quick change in net for Potsdam as they sent Wallace back in. And this is played down the ice. Not quite enough juice to get it down for icing as Cron comes up with it. And we get a collision at neutral ice. As that's sent down into the Tiger zone with 41.5 seconds remaining, second period action as Potsdam perhaps with an opportunity to get another attack on. As we see Pignoni on the left side, sends it down towards the net. Fired around the corner. Centering pass out towards Murray. This is taken away, played up ahead to Daly as Daly drags it forward. And this is poked away. Daly goes down in a pile. Played up to Hendy. And that is Jack Hendy, by the way, number 8. As the buzzer sounds, closing out second period action. A little bit more opportunities there for the Tigers, and Potsdam gets on the board. We'll take a quick break. Rotate the tires, plug the parking meters. When we come back, Jonathan will teach you how to build a floating bookshelf from alongside the Frigidaire, the cold sheet that is the Saranac Lake Civic Center Arena in Saranac Lake, New York. You're watching the Ultimate Chill Hockey Tournament gold medal game in the Cam Moody division, Potsdam and Middlebury on Game Capsule TV. We'll be right back.
But that's the cost of not being here. If Matt's here, then that's what he ends up doing. That's the job he takes.
All right, as we open up third period action, goaltenders returning back to their original nets. And Potsdam looking to get another couple of goals for all of their efforts, but getting some opportunities in the offensive zone. Of course, this Tigers team has quickly been breaking out of the defense and now looking to release Price up ahead. An indirect pass off the sidewall. Price with Cron heading down towards the net. That's something that this Middlebury team has been executing. This has got to be something that they train for. Go to the net with 2 people. Second chance opportunities are relatively common here in the younger age classes, as sometimes all that the goaltender can provide is the initial stoppage of the puck. As this is stolen away and now played up front. Here's a wrister, and at least something ends up in the bucket. As the net will be restored to its moorings. And we saw Munn collected in the basket. Early third period action. How's the heater? Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to say that out loud, otherwise you're going to have a whole bunch of people gathering around. Here's Daly over the top of the slot. Centering pass. And Bergeron unable to put that one in the bucket. As this is skated past Leonard, this will be an offsides. As that was forced out to neutral ice before immediately pushing back in. This is played by Gable. And that right there is a tripping call, as Potsdam will go to the power play for a minute, starting off in the offensive zone. And so Bergeron goes to the box for 60. And we'll see if Potsdam can quickly capitalize on this opportunity. Played into the middle to the backhand, as that'll be cupped by Poppy. And now setting up to Poppy's right side. Played in on net, and that'll be scooped. The short hop. Fielding that one like an outstretched first baseman. I promise, I've never thrown a short hop to my first baseman, not even deep in the shortstop hole, and this one makes it past the shortstop and into the back of the net. And that is how you capitalize on a power play, as Potsdam puts another one up on the board. And now a little bit more momentum. I think that's Kaiser on that one. You'd have to take a look at the game sheet as Leonard stretches the stick out there, throwing a little bit of a curve over towards Poppy. Winding up as that goes just shy of the net. Jones up at the right point. And Jones unable to get it off the stick. And now here comes Hendy. That's Jack. Shot on. And a nice kick save by Wallace. Played from the near side corner. And now racing up ahead. Here's a wrister as Poppy able to glove it. Couldn't hold on to it though. That's Whalen who came racing up on the right wing side. Got a good look, got a good shot. That was on net. I'm always happy to see that a shot is on frame and not wide of the net, as Whalen sends it down around the rim. Now picking up some momentum out across neutral ice, as Handy is forced off the puck. And now Cron comes up with it. Cron will be chased down as Potsdam is looking for another one. At the very least, Potsdam's got its sights on picking up more scores. This one might be far out of reach, but this team has no quit in it as they continue to apply heavy pressure. Now Cron comes down the middle with help on the right and left. Cron with a centering pass attempt and a beautiful play down in the slot area, as that was Gable keeping the stick in the passing lane, anticipating that attempt. And now here we have Pignoni. Pignoni plays it out towards Murray. And Murray pressures, comes up with possession in the corner, centering pass into the middle. Smart move for the young skater as this is played out to Gable. Gable sends it out on the left wing side, just barely getting in time to tag up. And a little collision in the substitution threw the Tigers out of position. And looking for the signal for a goal, didn't get it as Murray skates away a little upset. As this Potsdam team has been pouring on the pressure. And the type of resistance that they have faced against this Tigers team certainly has given them something to work with, as this will make them that much more of a resilient team. And considering how aggressively they have been playing this third period, there's every good reason that this Potsdam team will continue to develop. There are teams that will face heavy competition that might come out and dominate in a performance where those teams will say, I don't want to see that team again. This Potsdam team, the way that they are playing through this third period, I have to say, this seems like the kind of team that says, we want them back. And perhaps a year from now, these two teams will see each other again. And I'll say if there's one thing that I look for in any of this early stage hockey, this 10U, you can go younger than this, but really it's still formative at this stage. You're just supposed to be out there having fun. But if there's one thing to encourage, skate, skate, skate. As much as you can get skating time, get out there and skate. When you get to the point where those feet will do everything that you want them to do, then you don't have to think so much about staying upright. You don't have to think as much about overskating a play. And then you can get down to the true business, handling that puck. As we set up a face-off to Wallace's left side. As Potsdam has one in the box for 60 seconds with 2.5 to go in regulation.
Is that Munn? I can't remember who that is down at the scorer's table. No, the dad.
As this is played out of the zone, and now here's an opportunity in a foot race out in front with a shot, and that one shrugged off by Poppy. Whalen, the speedy skater, races up ahead and gets a solid look. As Maxwell trying to turn that one over. And the Tigers coming up with a power play goal. And we've been under a running clock for a good stretch here. We're down to 95 seconds remaining in regulation as Planty sends it up ahead on the left side. And that'll be offsides. As we see Munn out on the ice, Jones as well, Murray out on the right wing side for Potsdam. This is Bergeron leaving that one behind. This is sent down into the corner. Inside of a minute remaining in regulation. And now Hill racing away as Planty with a stick check, and Planty doing a great job of tying Hill up. And Wallace staying focused. Here's an opportunity, racing up on the left side. That's Jones peeling back, centering pass towards the slot. And now quickly retreating as the speedy Hill works up on the left wing side, goes to the backhand and slips that in the 5-hole. And that should just about do it, as the puck will be collected, brought over to center ice. But we're running down to the final seconds of regulation. And that should be it. And so the Middlebury Tigers take the victory as they sweep the weekend. A strong organization there. And not to be overlooked, the Hailstorm, very feisty through that third period. We look forward to seeing more of their development, as they've got some strong skaters out there, good competitors. The teammates play well together, as both teams set up at the center stripe to exchange goodwill on the handshake line. We say good game, safe travels, good meals, and good luck. What a great day to be a hockey player. What a great day to play hockey. And so we'll stand by for a moment as both teams will be awarded their medals. The players will line up on the blue line. They will remove their helmets. And Sergeant Cam Moody, representing this Cam Moody division gold medal game, will go ahead and hand out the silver medals and then the gold. So Potsdam will be awarded the silver medal here as each of the players skate up. You see Jones, Planty, Murray, and Wallace. We'll see Kaiser, and Whalen, and Gable, and Burkham, and Munn, Maxwell, and Warren, Green, Pignoni, Kilgore, and a congratulations to the Potsdam Hailstorm. And now the gold. Don't forget Weems out there. So we see Cannell out there for the Tigers, and Hill, Poppy, Hendy, Jack, Leonard, Bergeron. That doesn't sound like a hockey name. There's Cron, and if that doesn't sound like a hockey name, you better start saying it over and over, because that will be a name you'll be hearing quite a bit. Daly. You saw Joe Hendy as well. Price. Bourgeois. And now Portrait of Gold, the Tigers. And Poppy lounging out on the beach in Saranac Lake. And so thanks again to the Hailstorm out of Potsdam and to the Tigers out of Middlebury as they wave to their fans alongside the ice. We'll go ahead and wrap this one up and get ready for our capstone, the grand finale in the National Guard Division, the Blue Division. As we'll have the blue gold medal game coming up in just a moment. From alongside the cold sheet, the frigid air, that is the Saranac Lake Civic Center Arena in Saranac Lake, New York. Glenn Burnett with your play-by-play and color commentary alongside the smooth operator, Robin, behind the camera. You're watching the Ultimate Chill Hockey Tournament, Saranac Lake on Game Capsule TV. We'll see you on the next one.